So there we go. We cannot dismiss by just pulling down at all, but we have our nice button there and we can swipe through things. Looks good there. If we go to dark mode, looks good there. And yeah, looking pretty good. We hit OK, it dismisses it. Open it back up. Our data is persisted so that we shouldn't, yep, look at that, we don't see it again. So inside Xcode here, I've added some images to the assets folder that we'll be using, and that's it. So we'll go ahead and jump into our content view here, and just Option Command P to reload our preview. And with this, we'll go ahead and get started on line 10 by adding the one line that we need really just to persist our data. So once the user presses OK on the onboarding screen, we no longer want to see that pop up every time. So we're going to save that and not see it again. So that's done with the @AppStorage. So just a property wrapper. And it's for user defaults. If you've ever used that in the past, if not, no concerns. Basically, we just want to have a key. So if we had this AppStorage has a key, key 1, and we would, I said 1. We could have AppStorage with a different key value, and we could store different things. But this one we're going to call is welcome sheet showing. So the reason I did the is it's a Boolean property, so it makes sense to me. It's going to be a variable because we will be able to change this, obviously. We're going to change a value and store that. So call it var, give it the same name as the key, and we'll assign it true by default. So when the app launches for the first time, they're going to see the sheet, and then they can, press OK, and then the value will be toggled to false, and it won't be shown again until they delete the app completely. And then when the app gets reloaded, of course, it'll have been deleted and all the storage and defaults will be erased. So it'll show. That's pretty much it here. Now we just want to change this padding and go sheet, and go is presented. And here we just take a binding to the app storage property, and that's is welcome sheet showing. And then inside here, we would tab and enter, and inside here we would create our view, right? So this should be working. Let's go ahead and run it and see if the preview is just acting up. So build and run. And over here in the simulator, look at that. There we go. A red sheet, and if we drag it down, we get hello world. So that's more what I was expecting. One thing we also want to look at really quickly is right now we can actually pull this all the way down and dismiss that if I were to let go. That's not exactly a feature I want, is to be able to pull this down, is I want them to be able to or have to press a button, right? So they don't just like open the app and swipe down really quick and dismiss it without reading anything. So one way to do that is back in Xcode, we can come to whatever our view is that we're going to be presenting, and we're just going to write .enter active dismiss disabled. Going to do that, and then when we go ahead and run our application, we should be able to try and pull down to dismiss this view, but we won't actually be able to dismiss it. So if I pull down now, yeah, I'm pulling down and I can't go any further than that. So that kind of just makes it so we give them some information and then they have to come down here and tap a button, or maybe in our case, we'll swipe through a few things and then the button appears. I don't know. So just kind of make it so they have to read through a little bit before they jump right into the app. Yeah. So now with the basics built out, we should really start building out whatever this view is going to be. So I'll go ahead and just take this color view and I will extract this out to a sub view. And we're going to change its name to something more appropriate, not just extracted view, but something like a welcome view. And then it's going to complain we don't have something called welcome view, which it's correct, we don't. So we'll go ahead and fix that by putting that there, not here. This view here, we actually want it to be a VStack. Like that. And then I'll Command A, Control I, just kind of clean up our code a little bit. So in here, inside our VStack, we want to put a tab view, like so. And then inside of a tab view, we want to iterate over our different screens. So we'll go for each, and for now we'll just go 0, 3, and then we'll put something here. So we'll figure that out in a minute. We can fix this by actually just creating what we want to iterate over. Just put it right here for now. It'll be a really simple struct, and we'll just call it page info for each one of the pages in our tab view. Info like that. And it needs to be, well, it doesn't need, we're gonna make it identifiable so it's easier to work with. So to do that, we'll make a constant to have the ID, and we'll give it, and we'll assign it a unique identifier. So we can iterate over it. We'll also create a label, which is just going to be a string. And then we also need to create a string for our text. And after I do that, we'll create one more constant, which we'll call image, and we will make it a image resource. And this just means that we can use the resources from our assets folder. So that's pretty good there. Now we'll go ahead and just add some dummy data. So we just have a pages array, and it has, a welcome to sweet treats, explore our menu, some text, and image, dot syntax to access the images we have in our assets folder. So go back to our content view. And actually, if I go Command 0, we can close that up and give ourselves a little bit more room. Command Shift Y will also close our debug window. And now we can come over here, and instead of just iterating over a range, we can just go pages. And then what we do here is we write page for that individual page we're on in, and now we can actually start doing something. Also, I'm gonna come up here on line 27 and comment that out, and we're going to go welcome view, like so. We're gonna have to change that in a minute because we're gonna add some bindings here. But you can kind of see maybe that faint line, there's a tab view. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this tab view style dot page, I'm pretty sure. And now we could swipe through things, but we don't have a lot to go off of. So let's go ahead and fix that. But first, we'll go ahead and actually add our binding here. So this is going to be a binding to our stored property, which is a Boolean, and I think we'll just use the same name. So we'll go scroll up here. Is welcome sheet showing? Copy that. Just paste that there. Specify its type. Command S. And we'll get complaints up here. It's missing things for our preview purposes. So we'll just go dot constant. Like that, and we'll make it true. True. And of course, in here, we also need to pass that binding in too. So do this, $ is welcome. All right, so all our errors went away, but not a whole lot to look at the moment. So we'll scroll back down to our welcome view. And in here, we'll start putting in some information. So again, this will be a VStack. And inside of our VStack, we're going to have 2 text views and 1 image view. And that's really easy to do because we can just go text and we can go page for whatever the current page we're on, dot label. And we want to set the font for this one to be a little bigger. So we'll go font and we'll go dot large title, something like that. And there we go. Welcome to Sweet Treats. And we'll also set the font weight for this to be a little more bold. It's going to be, the big title on top, so it should look pretty good. The alignment looks a little off, so let's go ahead and set the multi-text alignment to dot center. I think that looks a little better. And I think that's pretty good for that one. Our next text field is going to be our text view is going to be page.text. And for that, I think we'll just adjust the font weight. So we'll go font weight, font weight, dot medium. I think that looks a little better. It's too close to the edges, so we will give it some padding. And okay, there we go. That looks pretty good. So what else do we need? In our VStack, we also need our image. So we'll go image. And in here, we'll just go page dot image. And we'll want to make some adjustments to that image, such as the resizable and the aspect ratio, and probably give it some padding as well. So we'll go, well, actually, we're not even seeing the image here. Let's run this and see how it looks. Oh boy, that's a big image. Yeah, we need to resize that. We'll go back over to Xcode and we'll go dot resizable. We will also change the aspect ratio to dot fit. And I think we'll add some padding just, in case. And I think their VStack there is done, but let's go ahead and check. If we run this one more time, hopefully things will start looking pretty decent. There we go, it slides up. This looks pretty good. Little images, we slide over to the next image, slide over to the next. Now, one thing you might notice is, where's our indicators here? We don't have, the little dots where we're indicating where we're at. Now, if we do go Command-Shift-A to go into a dark mode, you can see they're right here, and they update properly and everything looks great. But it doesn't work in light mode for who knows what reasoning. I have no idea. So that part is not, the best, but we can fix that by coming down here to the bottom of our VStack, or should we do it? Yeah, I think the VStack should work. If not, we'll move it into the tab view. But if we go on here, we go dot on up here, we will dig down into UIKit land for a moment, where we go UI page controller. And in here, we are going to go dot appearance and we'll go dot current page indicator tint color. And for that, we're going to assign it a color of dot label. I mean, we could assign any colors, so that's one cool thing, is we could really make this look however we would like, which could be fun. I'll scroll down a little bit. And then we're also going to set the page indicator tint color for the non-current one, but you can actually see we're already having improvement. We have that nice dark dot. And then we're going to go UI page controller dot appearance dot page indicator tint color, and we're going to assign that to dot system gray. And then if we go Option Command P, or even there, boom, it works. We got the dark one and the gray one, and we can maybe swipe over and it updates. And if we were to change this to dark mode and it updates sometime soon, it still looks good. So, odd little thing you have to do, dig down into UIKit for some reason, but that fixes that problem. Don't know why our images aren't showing up here. Obviously they were when we were running it, so a preview bug, I guess. Fun thing about programming, there will be bugs. Anywho, where are we at here? We got our VStack here. We have our information, but we still don't have a way to dismiss the view because we told the, the interactive disable feature modifier that we didn't want the user to be able to drag down and dismiss. So we'll go in the VStack and we'll go outside of our tab view because we don't want our buttons moving every time. And we'll go ahead and create a button that we can, have the user dismiss the viewer in. So here we're going to do the is welcome, and we're just going to toggle that value because it's true. So we're going to toggle it to false, and the view gets dismissed and we'll have to see it again. For the label, we'll have a simple text view, and in here we'll just say okay. And I want to give it a few modifiers, make it look a little nicer. You can see it on the bottom there, it's not bad, but we're going to give it a font of .title, and we'll not make it a huge title, so we'll make it a 3. And then I think we'll adjust the weight on it too, so we'll go font weight, and we will set it to something like semi-bold. And then what else? Let's also, on the button itself, go .frame, and we'll go max width, and we'll go .infinite. Actually, I'll comment that out just so we can see what that's actually doing. One of the things we also want to do here is set the button style. So we want to make it look a little more prominent. So we'll go button style, and we'll go .prominent or bordered prominent, and give it a minute to update. That looks pretty good, but it's super tiny still. So we'll uncomment this, and that should, after it updates. Nope, didn't do anything. So what we probably should do is cut that from there and paste it in right here. And then once it updates, there we go. That looks a lot better. We will give it some padding. So we'll go padding .vertical, and I'll give it a value of, 8. Kind of give a little more room here. But we also want to give it some padding so it's not right up against the edges as well. Which is not working because we want to do the padding there on the outside of the button instead of on the, we don't want to add more padding to this text view and add padding to the button itself. But anyway, that looks pretty good now. So now we've got a nice big button they can tap, and it doesn't swipe away when we, scroll through our tabs or our pages. So I think that's actually pretty much all we need to have a nice little introduction or welcome screen. Let's go and run that and see how things are looking. So there we go. We cannot dismiss by just pulling down at all, but we have our nice button there, and we can swipe through things. Looks good there. If we go to dark mode, looks good there. And yeah, looking pretty good. We hit OK, it dismisses it. Open it back up. Our data's persisted so that we shouldn't, yep, look at that, we don't see it again. Now, if we deleted it and ran the app, obviously it'd show up again because we've deleted the app with all the data that was stored for it. So hopefully that was helpful and not too rambly. Haven't made a video in a while, so this is me trying to learn how to make videos again. If this was helpful or useful in any way, let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching.